This episode of Techno Buffalo is brought to you by Full Sail University. Hello, Internet, and welcome back to another episode of Ask the Buffalo, the show where you can ask me, Ashley Esqueda, any question you might have from the wide world of technology. Every Tuesday, we put up a call for questions on technobuffalo.com. You can leave your question in the post comments. Otherwise, you can send them to me any time of the day or night on Twitter at technobuffalo or at Ashley Esqueda. But make sure you use the hashtag AskTheBee so I can see it. But usually every show I answer between 3 and 5 questions. So let's get answering, because this is Ask the Buffalo. Josh asks, hey Ashley, I was curious which character thus far announced for Super Smash Bros. Wii U/3DS will you play as? I'm a big Super Smash Bros. Fan all the way back to the original, but I always play as Metroid's Samus Aran and will continue to do so until I die or they remove the character. Although this time around I may take a spin with Pit from Kid Icarus because I'm a huge fan. I have a little nostalgia for Kid Icarus. If I had a dream character for Super Smash Bros. That I could add, it would either be Sora from Kingdom Hearts or, and this is my favorite, Mallow from Super Mario RPG on Super Nintendo. I don't know if you guys remember this game, but seriously, how amazing would combat with Mallow be? It would be the best thing ever. He's like that little marshmallow dude with the long arms. Sorov asks, Ashley, now that Apple iPhone 5 is being discontinued, do you know what Apple did with the remaining stock? Any chance we'll see them for sale in the near future via any third-party seller? This is a really good question, and I think a lot of people have this one, but on my end, pure and total speculation, but I would imagine that any iPhone 5s Apple had in-house would be dismantled and repurposed for the iPhone 5C. Since they have the same guts and the same dimensions as the 5, they just have that polycarbonate back. I don't know that we'll be seeing any like third-party retailers get like a fire sale stock of the iPhone 5. It's not really how Apple sort of functions. But I do think that you are still at this time able to sort of find iPhone 5s here and there if you go to the right place. But yeah, I have a feeling anything that Apple has in stock, I have a feeling are being repurposed for iPhone 5Cs. Twitter user Kevin Driscoll 13 says, do you think Apple's iBeacon will overtake NFC, or do you think it'll fade out and Apple will support NFC later? This is actually an awesome question because certainly this is a battle of, different near-field communication projects. And I really think this is going to be a case of who makes a killer application for either tech first. Not necessarily an app, but an application. So a real-world use case that is amazing, super compelling, and basically makes it mandatory to have that technology in a phone. There's really not one mega reason to have NFC right now or iBeacon, and the first OS to utilize their respective technology is gonna likely dominate. So think of it like the Blu-ray and HD DVD war. At some point, one has gotta give. So I definitely think at some point we'll see who wins the war on it. I think iBeacon on one hand has a lot of really interesting potential applications, but NFC does too, and is already in use, like relatively, and it's not proprietary or locked to just Apple devices, so it is a toss-up. And don't forget, Apple doesn't necessarily have a lot of success in terms of like iAd, for example, has not really become like any kind of industry standard. So it's definitely up in the air. I don't know who's gonna win, but I'm really curious to find out. I think we will know in maybe the next 3 to 5 years. AppGeek98 asks, when did you start getting interest in tech stuff and gadgets? That's a sweet question. I have been interested in technology ever since I was a kid. I got my first Nintendo when I was 3 years old. So my first NES, my first piece of major technology was an NES. And I remember being super excited about it. I remember playing Simon's Quest. I remember playing Castlevania 2 with my mom. I thought she was such a cool mom for being able to beat Castlevania 2. I thought it was amazing. I have always loved technology. I've always wanted to have the latest and greatest. I started building my own PCs when I was a teenager. I still do that to this day. I love buying all the parts, buying a new case, putting it all together. It's just such a nice feeling to be able to sort of do it yourself. I think that I also ended up getting right on the cusp of like when we started getting the internet, when we started seeing video games really come into its own. So I just sort of ended up in the right place at the right time in terms of technology coming up when I was the right age to really appreciate it. I wasn't young enough to take it for granted, but I was definitely not old enough to sort of understand the implications of it later or be afraid of it. So I know that some older people are like afraid of technology, but thank God I'm not that old. But Yeah, that's when I got started. So 3 years old, and I've been into tech since I was a kid. I gotta interrupt this episode really quick with a little shout out to Full Sail University. Obviously, apps right now are huge. They are everywhere, and we've all had these ideas that make us say, oh my God, that should totally be an app. So Full Sail University's online mobile development bachelor's degree program teaches you how to make an app from concept right at the beginning to post-launch marketing. Even better, you do the whole thing, the entire course from the comfort of your own home via Full Sail's online education platform. With Full Sail's mobile dev program, you learn both sides of app development for both iOS and Android, creating your app with advanced programming languages, and then launching and managing the business of your app once it's complete. Oh, but Ashley, you say, I don't have a good enough computer to run lines of advanced code. It's expensive, and I can't afford all that expensive coding software. Well, that's okay, because Full Sail's Project Launchbox program offers students a MacBook Pro preloaded with industry software. Plus, you get iOS and Android devices to make your app on. So if you're ready to make that killer app and you're interested in learning more about Full Sail's online degree program, head over to fullsail.edu/technobuffalo. Well, that's it for this week's Ask the Buffalo. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to check us out at technobuffalo.com for all the latest and greatest tech news. And that is it for the show. I'm Ashley Esqueda, and we'll see you next week. Hey guys, Ashley here. Just wanted to let you know that if you liked what you just saw, we've got 2 other shows that go live every single week. Redinger's Rants, where John totally goes nuts about issues that bug him across consumer technology, and Rumor Roundup, where he tells you all about the best rumors in the world of tech. So click the text below that says subscribe, and if you want to check out either of those shows, click right over here. See you next time. Thanks for watching.